I wanted to talk about the reel I posted a while ago where I said that I felt gaslit by the beauty community because when I would talk about losing my hair, I looked on the internet and I got a ton of advice. And to be fair, getting a ton of advice from the internet is sometimes really tricky and a lot of times not scientifically backed. So I'm going to talk about all the natural or at-home remedies that I tried to fix my hair loss or address my hair loss and what actually worked. For some context, I was really losing my hair and I was actually losing it right here. So it's much more full now because I have sought help, but from a professional. And I had these big gaps. So I actually was having some male pattern baldness where I was losing my hair on the top of my head and my part was getting thicker, and it's still a little bit thicker, but it's so much better than it used to be. So here's a quick before photo to show you how much hair and how much scalp you used to be able to see when you pulled my hair back because I was losing so much of it. And I started losing it at the prime age of 24, which is actually quite young. And something that I learned while I was doing my research is that women's hair loss is extremely common and we don't talk about it. I felt very alone even though I was not alone. It is a very common thing that no one really talks about. And when I was looking online on how to get thicker hair, I got a lot of information. So I want to go over all of those right now. Then I want to talk about the two things that a dermatologist, an actual medical expert, told me to do, and the things that actually worked and what definitely didn't. So number one, castor oil. I don't even know how this one ended up on my radar. I'm pretty sure my mom told me to start castor oil because she saw things online about castor oil. And my hair has never been simultaneously more oily and more dry and brittle than ever before in my life. It is such a thick oil. I would put it on my hair and I would let it sit for an hour or two. I would even go work out and I would just let it seep in and then I would try to wash it out. But it's like a thick oil. I'm pretty sure motor oil is actually thinner than castor oil, and it would just take so much time and effort to wash out. I would shampoo my hair 2 or 3 times just to get it out of my hair, and it did not help my hair loss. I'm actually pretty sure that it made it worse because I was trying so hard to get it out of my hair, and it didn't matter what type of shampoo I used, the all-natural stuff, the sulfate-free stuff, the hardcore sulfate-heavy things, it would stick in my hair. So would never try that again. Number 2, washing my hair less. It was a great way to get dandruff and an oily scalp at the same time while probably making my hair significantly worse. I'm an oily gal. I had such oily hair and I would get dandruff after not washing my hair for 1 day. And it didn't matter what product I used, tea tree oil, whatever, I would seriously get so much dandruff and oil stuck to my scalp. It was disgusting. It was also gross. It made me feel like gross on a day-to-day basis. Like I almost felt like I shouldn't have been going outside. I used to wear beanies to cover my scalp. My favorite were bucket hats because it was a fashion statement that hid the fact that my hair was disgusting. I also learned that you can't really train your hair. Even though I tried. Don't recommend. Number 3 is apple cider vinegar. It's a great home remedy if you want to dry out your scalp and if you want to smell sour. I don't even understand why that was one of those trends. Biotin supplements. I don't have a biotin deficiency. Also, supplements are not regulated by the FDA, which if you are kind of nerdy like me, that's super important. I thought it would make my hair grow thicker and faster, and it didn't. It did nothing. It also will interfere with blood work if you start taking biotin supplements, which is why I would not recommend it. There was also no scientific claims that I found that actually said that biotin supplements would make your hair grow thicker or faster, which is why I stopped it after about a year with no progress. I have everything that Sephora told me. I think Sephora employees are awesome because they're very patient and they'll listen to you. I bought every single thing they recommended and it did not help my hair. It really just made my cabinets full and I had a lot of products that let me down and led to further frustration. Also, they make you feel really pretty and welcome, so you feel more obligated to buy things, and that's why I have a hard time going into Sephora, because I know me and I'll just keep buying more. I now don't like to ask for help as often as I used to, because I used to go in saying, oh, I really want this one product, and then I would talk to their sales reps, and then I would leave with 5 other products that I super did not need, nor was I on the hunt for. Number 6, manifesting. I just wanted to throw this one out there because that did not help. Okay, so none of those worked. So I went to go see a dermatologist, someone who could actually help, which was surprisingly a last resort. I wanted to pass this along just in case you are an individual who's not able to see a dermatologist. Also link a video to Dr. Dre, who I love a lot, who actually talks about what I'm going to talk about and the products that I use to help. So the 2 things that they recommended to me that actually helped my hair loss, number 1 was a DHT blocker. So I actually got it in 2 ways. I got it topically, and then I got it in a medication form. Number 1, I got spironolactone, which I actually had to go get a prescription for to see a dermatologist to get that. Since I started using it, both my hair and my acne have improved. The medication is something that really works for women and not for men, which is a downside. The next thing I'll talk about can work for both genders, is actually something that more men use, it seems like, than women. But I honestly think that women should be including this onto their routine on a regular basis if you are worried about hair loss. I don't really want to dive too much into medication just because I'm not a medical professional. It made me have to go to the bathroom a lot because it's a diuretic. It was a little annoying. If you are looking for something without a prescription, I would recommend a ketoconazole shampoo. It has been the best thing for my hair. My hair is shinier, it is thicker, it is less oily, it has no more dandruff. So I started using the Revita Hair Density Shampoo, which I was using another product. I actually like this one way more because it smells better. The other one smelled a little artificial to me. And it has so many things in it that actually made my hair better. Ketoconazole is a DHT blocker, so what I do is that I put it in my hair, I let it sit for 2 minutes, and then I wash it out. I do that about 4 times a week, and I actually need to wash my hair less. I know the whole theory on washing your hair less is kind of controversial, to me at least, but if you are a person who's looking to have less oily hair and to have much fuller hair, I really recommend this product. It does, with any solution that you use, with any DHT blocker, it takes a little bit of time. But I want to show you that this is what has started happening since I started using it. I have little baby's hairs and they're actually constantly getting thicker, and my part is fuller, and that's just one section of my hair. My hair on the top of my head is very full. It feels healthier. I am no longer carrying the weight of that insecurity on my shoulders. So I could not recommend this product enough. It has caffeine, which is what originally a lot of those claims had, where it's like, oh, you're going to, with apple cider vinegar, and castor oil, it's going to send blood up to your scalp, which is going to encourage hair growth. This actually does that. Castor oil did not help me. Apple cider vinegar made my hair worse. This is the one product that I would actually say saved me. I also love that these are refillable. For me, I care about 2 things a lot: the environment and science-backed products, and this one is just amazing. I have been using it and it's been effective, and it is a DHT blocker that I don't have to take orally. I'm probably going to phase out my medication of spironolactone because using a diuretic on a regular basis is actually quite annoying. Also, about 2 weeks into starting to use it, I actually saw a lot less fallout, which is a big deal for me. Because I would see the hair at the bottom of my drain and I would freak the hell out. And then number 2 is to take care of my health. I feel like people would just say, oh, take care of yourself. Well, you know, if you are a person who's limited for time, constantly eating in and making sure that you hit all of your vegetables, really difficult. Drinking water when you're so focused on your work and you're overwhelmed, kind of annoying. Sleeping enough, don't even want to get into that one. However, those small things of sleeping a little bit more, eating more vegetables, taking care of my overall health made me less stressed, which in turn probably made my hair thicker. In 2020, apparently a lot of women lost their hair. I feel like I'm only seeing things about it now in 2023 because we are kind of over it. We're kind of past that high stress of the pandemic. I want to talk about the emotional aspect of losing your hair because there's a lot of shame with it. I found that a lot of women who are going through menopause were actually starting to lose their hair, and the amount of emotional toll that took on people, a lot of women felt like post-pregnancy they were losing their hair, or a lot of women who were just going through hormonal changes or going through a really stressful time, they were losing their hair. And you know what made that worse? Losing their hair. So when I was studying on the subject, it seemed like hair loss actually happens more as you age. So if you are looking to prevent that, I would recommend talking to a dermatologist, starting THC blockers, getting ahead of the game, because it's easier to maintain and prevent than it is to go back. The best way to get rid of credit card debt is to never go into credit card debt. Treat your hair really similarly, but just keep in mind that maintenance is way better. I face hair loss all of the time, and we just don't talk about it enough. Like, we expect women to never lose their hair. And for a lot of women, they take a lot of pride in their hair. I was really embarrassed, and now I take a ton of pride in my hair, and I'm excited about it. But it also took me a really long time to get there, and it took a huge emotional toll to get there. Kind of emotionally devastating and deeply traumatic. And I feel as a community, the beauty community, kind of makes women feel bad. It's almost like, well, you need to train your hair. Obviously, that's what's wrong with you. You need to train yourself to have less oily hair. It just takes a toll on your self-esteem, and it feels very isolating. Also, I really hated using Rogaine because it was sticky and awful. And if you spill it on your face at all, you're gonna grow hair there. Like, there are women who started growing hair here because they would get a little bit of Rogaine on their face and then they would grow facial hair. I just want to destigmatize the conversation of hair loss. I also want to remind women that if you are losing your hair, you are super not alone. A lot of women are losing their hair. I was losing my hair at the prime age of 24, and looking back on that, I was not emotionally equipped to handle it because I really thought there was something wrong with me versus this being a deeply normal thing. Also, my brain wasn't even fully developed when I started losing my hair, so that led me to start buying a ton of products that actually were not going to be useful. I just believed whatever the internet said. I listened to any Sephora advice ever, and none of those products were scientifically backed. I did not get products that had any form of clinical trials, or both of the things that I've recommended have been backed by research, have very successful results. I also recommend talking to both your girlfriends and your doctor about it. I talk to my girlfriends, like my mom, my Aunt Jay. We talk about it all the time because it's very common to talk about Botox or fillers. But for some reason, hair loss is not included in that. I just think that we should be including that in the conversation more. I would recommend seeing a doctor or professional if you can. I recommend getting ahead of it if you can. But I really want to say that you are not alone. It's perfectly normal, and it is addressable. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.